So I'm Amnon, and we're going to talk about Scylla Monitoring 2.0. There are multiple significant enhancements. The three major ones that I'm going to cover today. First of all is the Alertmanager support that we added. We upgraded the Prometheus to 2.3, and we simplified dashboard creation. Down at the bottom, you have the link for our monitoring stack. If you haven't used it yet, feel free to try it. It's really nice. Let's start with a short overview of the monitoring stack. We use Prometheus for gathering metrics and store them. For dashboard creation and viewing, we use Grafana. Now, Prometheus, aside from gathering metrics, it can also generate alerts. We use the Alertmanager to receive those alerts and serve as another data source for Grafana, so those alerts can be viewed on the dashboards. I'll start with the Alertmanager. The Alertmanager is an application, standalone application, that takes the Prometheus alerts and can either, as we said, act as a data source for Grafana. It can also send those alerts to other systems. And so you can get email notification, PagerDuty, Slack messages, and so forth. So we'll go a little bit deeper into Prometheus alerts. Prometheus can fire an alert when something is happening for a certain period of time, and you can add additional data to that alert. This is a simple, if you look at this is a sample of a configuration that sends an alert when a node is down. If you look at the second line, you see that there's a logical condition. And what it means is that we didn't get any notification from that node. The third line, meaning that we didn't get any data from that node for 30 seconds. The rest of the configuration gives us additional data about what happened, like labels and annotation and so forth. Now, as we said, the Prometheus generates an alert and sends it to the Alertmanager. The Alertmanager configuration tells the Alertmanager what to do with that alert. Now, if you look at the configuration, which I'm not going to do really deeply, there are three parts. Routes allows us to specify specific configuration per alert. And it can do it in a tree kind of way. So you can do it inner and inner, more specific and more specific. You can start with a general rule and make it more specific. Inhibition allows you to mute one alert based on another. The simplest example is if you have two similar alerts, one with higher priority and one with lower priority. And inhibition rules allows you to mute the lower priority alert when you get an additional alert with higher priority. Receiver is quite a confusing name because it actually tells the Alertmanager how to send something out. So receiver tells you, for example, to send an email to someone or send a PagerDuty notification or something else. This is an email example for a disk space that is running out. You can configure the email notification. Alertmanager will try to combine as much information as possible to the same email when it's similar alerts. And it's good to remember that email are a really nice and easy way to integrate with other systems. For example, we use email to integrate with Zendesk for internal purposes. As we said, Alertmanager also acts as a data source for Grafana. And if you look now at the dashboards, in the overview dashboard, you can see the alerts panel that has the same alerts. And this is an example of the alerts that we've talked about before. Now, if you're using our own monitoring stack, you'll get the Alertmanager as part of the stack. And if you're using your own, then you should install Alertmanager aside from the Grafana and Prometheus that you probably already do. So enough alerts, a little bit about Prometheus. We switched to Prometheus 2.3. It comes with a great improvement in both performance and disk space. So there is one problem. It's not backward compatible. So the information on how to upgrade, it's not trivial, but it's possible. So the information on how to do that, it's part of the Prometheus Prometheus documentation, our Pro documentation. We have a blog post that covers it. But in general, you run two monitoring stacks side by side and let them synchronize. Now, if you're not using our Docker implementation, we highly recommend that you move to the latest Prometheus version. There are huge problems with the older version. They're not really supporting it. You see all sorts of funky things that's happening just because you're using the old version. Last, I'll speed through a few last interesting items. Multi-cluster and multi-DC. In the dashboards, all the dashboards are now support both. Just you need to configure the DC and cluster, and you can filter your dashboards and graphs accordingly. There are two new in-depth dashboards, one for CPU utilization and one for specifically for hosts, host metrics like disk, memory, and stuff like that. All the dashboards has more metrics. Now, if you're following that, each version comes with new stuff. The Scylla Manager has its own dashboard now. And if by any chance you are configuring dashboards through JSON files like we do, we have a really neat enhancement that allow you to use really small and minor information instead of all the additional stuff that you usually don't need, and allows you to create really nice and short dashboards. So check it out. Thank you, and